Hello, Aries. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. Well, Aries, I want to say thank you for deciding to click on this reading, and I'm glad you did because guess what? We have, yes, we do. We have that high priestess energy. You are so aligned with the universe right now. You are so plugged in. Your intuition off the charts. This is a good time to really be out there in the world. Maybe not being super involved, but witnessing, right? When we have this kind of intuition flowing, we are plugged in, we're seeing signs, symbols, synchronicities. It just feels like everything is in the right place, which it is. It always is. But when you feel like you're really perceiving it, you are locked in, everything is flowing as it should be. That's when we should really be getting out there, living, experiencing, and collecting information about the world. Now, I don't mean like a private detective necessarily, but I mean, having experiences, figuring out what you like, what you don't like, deviating from our routines once in a great while. And I see you shaking your head. I know, me too. I'm a Virgo. It's not always easy, but we need to. Sometimes we got to get out there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's turn this thing. We're going to see what the bowl has to say. And now I say bowl because this is, I don't know exactly what this is for. I feel like it's like a water, like a finger cleaning. I don't know. They come with sets, like china sets, right? And I think they work so much better for reading tea leaves. If you've wondered why I don't use a cup in my readings that I film, it's because it's deeper and it's harder to see all of the formations. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's get started. Also, I got to say the thing. You know what the thing is. If you want to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Or if you want to leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. I am really interested in what people are reading this summer or what are you interested in studying? My daughter and I have a list going. We're doing fossils. She's really interested in animal teeth and building bricks out of mud. That is one that we're practicing. All right, let's go ahead. So immediately, I see the dog priest or priestess right here. This reminds me very much, the head right here, of like a husky. You see the ears, the little eye, the big old smile, the nose, that's a star. Now, we also have the body here, and it's in an upright position, where you would think, okay, this is like a humanoid being, not a dog standing on its back feet, but it does feel like a priest. It feels masculine of the dog. Okay, so now sometimes this could be Anubis, of course. Anubis, I believe, is maybe one of the more well-known dogged, although it is a jackal, I think. I think he's supposed to be a jackal. Canine. Although, I don't know. You know what I found out recently? That, oh my gosh, what are they called? Hyenas are actually closely related to cats and very much less so related to canines, which blew my mind. So I don't know. I think a jackal is a dog, though. We're going to go with that. This, however, does not feel like Anubis. It doesn't feel like a psychopomp. It feels much more kind of a totem, possibly. Maybe it is you. Maybe the dog is like a very close spirit guide or something that you identify with yourself. And maybe you're a really involved dog person. Maybe you raise dogs, rehabilitate dogs, foster, adopt out. I know. Hashtag adopt, don't buy. And yeah, I feel that this is kind of if you could think of as like a flow of consciousness, this is your people. These are your animals. You totally, I feel, have a connection to dog life. I don't know what that is. I'd love to know if you're like shaking your head, yes, yeah, Lenor, you're right on. Let me know. In what capacity? What is this dog consciousness? Now, the dog often represents loyalty, a best friend, somebody who is like a ride or die, just forever and ever we are, traveling this path, sometimes right next to each other, sometimes we get a little split up, but we always end up back in partnership, right? So but in this case, yeah, I feel like this is really about your belovedness with the dogs and things relating to dogs. Okay, so let's see, what else do we have going on? I love to see a dog person. Oh my gosh, the other day, my daughter, she's almost 5 here in a few weeks. She'll be 5. She's a little Gemini, a little Spitfire, as my acquired mom likes to call her. And she is. The other day, she saw a little Chihuahua at the lake. This really nice couple let us say hello. And so cute. She was so cute. This little tiny Chihuahua, the cutest. And my daughter now is like, okay, let's get a dog. All right. So we have, it looks almost kind of, to me, I'm imagining we have a person up here riding on a horse. Okay. And beneath the moon, we have another person sitting next to a tree. You can see right here. And then we have a person that it looks like they're cooking. You can see right here, this would be their body and their arm kind of reaching over. And it reminds me of like a large like soup pot. Over here we have a person that looks like they're wearing a robe. And it, to me, looks like fruits and vegetables. And then we have a telescope over here. So I get this feeling of really being pulled towards the domestic side of things. Even, I feel like it must be kind of a wanting, a dream, and something that you've been working towards, which is maybe living a life where you are more self-reliant. And what do I mean by that? Living outside of the system to some degree. Now, I'm not saying like you're, fully going off grid, although maybe you are interested in living this kind of, what do they call that? Homesteading kind of lifestyle. Getting out to the country. It's not a bad life. Let me tell you that. It's not a bad life. But it's a lot of work, right? And so I feel that like maybe you're like a lot of people, I think, have become, instead of this huge kind of going from like, okay, I'm from the city. I've been always, living in a very densely populated area. Now I'm going to go live off grid in the middle of, nowhere. There's like a town, 30 minutes away or whatever. I don't think it's to that extreme, but I do feel like there is this kind of churning. And that's what I'm thinking of, like stirring the thing, gaining momentum, and moving towards, having a little area for yourself, maybe even like a little garden, being able to spend time and cook some of your meals, being able to enjoy the process of putting that together, and also, like I said, I think that this is like somewhere in between, modifying your life a little bit, changing some of the ways that you're doing things. And to me, it could even be like this idea that it's like, okay, everything costs so much right now, and it probably always will for the rest of the time, right? I used to eat out all the time, right? And well, not me, I like to cook, but I do. We were eating out more than we should have been. But yeah, and then it's like, okay, so I need to save some money. Maybe it'll be cheaper if I start doing some meals at home, right? And we've all had these thoughts. If you have a bunch of kids or if it's just you and the dog, right? Doesn't matter. Everything's expensive. We're all trying to figure it out. And yeah, one of the first things that comes to mind is like, maybe I start doing some more stuff at home. Maybe I put in a little garden. Maybe I get some chickens. Maybe we start harvesting our own eggs and foraging a little bit. Be careful with that, by the way. Please educate yourself deeply before you start foraging and actually consuming anything. Okay? There's so many things that look like other things. I have been foraging for many years, and I still am there are things like wild carrots that could easily look like, like Queen Anne's lace, or you might mix it up with, what is the other one? I don't know, whatever. But there are ones that can be poisonous, obviously. So you got to be careful. Just be careful. Also, don't forage near a road. I've seen people like out looking and foraging for stuff near major roadways. Don't do it, because there's a lot of stuff that comes off the cars and everything along that roadway. I would not. Okay. Anyways, that's my PSA. But yeah, I could see you really just coming into this place where it's like, I know I'm busy. I know I got a lot of stuff going on. And the idea of overhauling my life once again, which, listen, we've all been doing it. If you were an adult and adulting during, the thing that happened about 5 years ago, we all know we had to readjust deeply, hugely. Right? And so, yeah, there's fatigue. I think a lot of us are fatigued. The idea of doing anything major, it's a lot. But I do feel like this is more about having a more holistic, and I don't mean like new age or even the kind of food you're eating or any of that stuff. I mean feeling like you are living a life that fills you up instead of just continually depletes you. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say, just moving out to the middle of nowhere and having a garden and doing things the long way for a lot of them is something that's not super tiring and overwhelming at times. But it's a different kind of tired when we start learning how to do a lot of the things, fundamental things that we want in our life. There's something about saying, you know what, I love melon, right? I love melon. So I'm going to go ahead and grow some honeydew. And that first melon you get off that vine, I'll tell you what, is warm from the sun, and you cut it open and oof, you've never tasted anything quite like that. It's fulfilling. I don't know how to else to say it, right? So I do feel you making some adjustments, and I do feel you. And here's the part where we have the person with the horse, okay? I do feel you with the moon above. Very kind of romantic, dreamy eyes. That's what you're looking at the world through almost I feel like a feeling of, if I let all of this chaos and misery that is going on in the world take me, I will, succumb to it and waste my years, waste my days, my hours. This blessing, this miracle I have received to be consciousness with a body, or at least the perception of, right? Why would I squander that? Why would I waste that beautiful blessing? And so I think a lot of us are awakening to this reality. Do I give the rest of my time to worrying and lamenting and ultimately becoming quite divided from other people? Reactionary, accusatory, slowly hardening and closing myself off? Or do I find reasons to love life? Wow, to be alive in this now. Good, bad, hard, easy, full of abundance, or looking for my abundance. It doesn't matter. I see you coming into this consciousness that a lot of us are starting to figure out. Is the world scary? Yes, of course it is. Is it also a beautiful and wonderful, full place? Yes. Is there room to be? Yes. Is there room to become? Yes. 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 Okay, so I want to look up here. We have the star. We have the star with a person right inside of it. Okay, look at this. It is a star, but we also have this person right here, right there. Okay, that tells me that you are realizing one of the great goals of your life. The star is the archetype of our goal work, right? If you can imagine going out at night, you're standing there, you're looking up, you're looking at the stars, and you're dreaming. You're dreaming about your future, about the things that you want for yourself, for your family, for your children, for your dogs. You are fully embodied in this work. You are devoted to this work, whatever this goal is for you. And I see in this next cycle of time, and I do believe this will be by the end of the year, you will be fully realizing this goal. It will come to pass. Now, that is a wonderful thing. That is a huge climax in life. Hitting that peak, summiting that mountain. But it comes with that swift turn towards what's next. What is next for me? So this is something that, I feel that it's calling for you to contemplate what will be next. Now, don't forget to enjoy the trip that you're on, because you are on one and you're doing quite well, right? Things are building in your favor, and enjoy that, be in that. But there also is going to be a tomorrow. There's going to be a next. And I feel like, Aries, you are often the same kind of person as myself. If you don't have something lined up, if you don't know what's going on after this, if the calendar hasn't been filled out, you're going to spend the end of whatever you're doing thinking about, okay, what am I going to be doing next? Totally out of the moment. So plan it. Have some idea. Make a rough outline. But just have something there so that you can enjoy your ascent as you meet this goal. Okay? All right. Let's check out this one. We have a dragon, and we have it looks like a little gopher, a little groundhog, if you will, right there. Well, now, the gopher, the ground, yes. I always forget. Every year, I'm like, what are the ones that they have the same name? It's the groundhog and the gopher, not the gopher. Groundhog and the woodchuck. Woodchuck. Did you know a woodchuck is a freaking gopher? It's the same thing. No, not a gopher. I'm sorry. It's a groundhog. It's the same thing as the groundhog. Like the, Punxsutawney Phil or whatever, the dude that goes, the dudes, the long line of dudes that come out of their little tree stump or whatever it is, and if they see their shadow, then we have more spring, more winter. I swear, I know what I'm talking about. I've seen the Bill Murray movie. Anyways, I found out that woodchucks and groundhogs are the same thing. I had no idea. Also, they climb trees. I have at least 2 of them that live on the property here, and one of them loves raspberries, and we have a lot of raspberry bushes. And so last year I caught one of them, climbed up in the tree, taking a gander at what are the raspberry bushes doing. It was so cute, so wild. Anyways, reminds me very much of the stance here. And so to me, it feels like last year, which was the year of the dragon, of course, was very much about these earthen attributes, qualities, right? So the disc, the Malkuthian sphere, our physical world. I think you were very focused on building up probably money, I imagine, resources, getting the house in order. And now we are in the year of the snake, okay? And so I do feel like we're 6 months in almost. My gosh, it's almost... we are. It's not 6 months into the snake because I think that started in February. But how did time go by so fast? My goodness. Anyways, we're into the year of the snake. We're very well into. And I feel like for you, this year is turning out to be more about the emotions. And I see the crab. I also see we have a person holding a wand. Okay, so the wand is the fire element, which is about passion. And I see the emotional waters really meeting that fiery energy. And what do we get there? We get this really strong, psychic, emotional, creative trifecta. And I do. I feel you being probably at the peak of your ability for sublimation, which is taking aspects of the psyche or emotional landscape, right? And bringing that out and putting it into creating artwork, music, writing books, whatever. right? And so I feel like this is the alignment that you are getting into, is being able to really harness those emotions, meeting with that fiery creative energy, and really making this a time where you are, well, manifesting something from nothing, basically, right? And so I'm very excited to hear about what your creative endeavors might be. All right, so we have 3 lucky numbers. Number 5, number 47, and number 53. Number 53. We will do our wild bohemian affirmation cards. I'm just going to flip through, stop where it feels right. It looks like jewels of some kind. And it says, 39, I am soulful. Your work is to practice receiving great abundance. Envision and feel this as real. Envision and feel this as real. All right, all right. And then we will finish off with our Dreamers deck. Okay. Stop where it feels right. And it says, I know that each breath confirms that I am alive and far from finished. Of course, I am just getting started. Oh, yes, I am just getting started. All right. Well, Aries, I love you. I hope that you know that. And I'm so thankful to spend this time with you. Our time is maybe the most valuable thing that we have, aside from love, of course. Of course, it's love at number 1. But yeah, I appreciate that you want to spend this time with me. It is a true honor. It is a privilege for me. And if you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Other than that, I think that's it, really. Yeah. I love you. Take care of yourself, and we will talk in a few days. Good night.